What is food tourism? Traveling for a taste of place in order to get a sense of place. Food tourism is the act of traveling for a taste of place in order to get a sense of place. As our industry is rapidly evolving, professionals, academics and others continue to put forward their own definitions of food tourism, culinary tourism and gastronomy tourism. These phrases are synonyms, as we explain below. Traveling a certain distance or overnighting in a lodging property is often required by some organizations for the activity to be regarded as tourism. But that ignores any locals who travel across a city for a new food or beverage product or experience. Some people don't believe beverages should be included in food tourism. Some people find the use of food too banal and prefer culinary tourism or gastronomy tourism. For others, they think of gourmet or agricultural offerings when they hear the word food. These are overly complicated attempts to explain the simplest concept. Food tourism is the act of traveling for a taste of place in order to get a sense of place. You can always dissect the definition further, but there is simply no easier way to explain the act of traveling to experience unique food and beverage products and experiences. Simple is always best. Food tourism, culinary tourism or gastronomy tourism. Food tourism. We've stated before that our definition of this phrase automatically includes beverages because food and beverage tourism is cumbersome to say. Also, it is implied that if people are eating, they are probably drinking as well. For some, food sounds too common. Perhaps, but the meaning is clear, and it is easy to say. Also, food tourism avoids the slightly elitist reputation of the two phrases that follow. We use food travel and food tourism interchangeably, depending on how the term sounds in a particular situation, although we are sure that there are a few professionals, and probably even more academics who will be happy to point out the minor differences between the two phrases. Culinary tourism. We began with this phrase when our industry was young, but we realized after 10 years that native English speakers found the phrase a bit pretentious. That came as a surprise, as this was never our intent. Still, the elitist perception remains. Culinary echoes time spent in professional culinary training to become a chef. While it may not be the best phrase, it does already include beverages without further explanation. And in certain circumstances, such as discussing culinary culture, to our ears, this phrase simply sounds better than food culture, although again, the terms are interchangeable. Gastronomy tourism. We find this phrase used mostly in Europe and mostly among speakers of Romance languages. For them, food travel sounds very basic and banal, almost like cavemen hunting for food. Gastronomy is the term used to explain an area's culinary culture, and for them, it follows that gastronomy tourism makes the most sense. To native English speakers, the phrase does sound a bit elitist, but in context, we understand why this term is used. In these markets, it is perfectly acceptable to us to use the term gastronomy tourism